What if our most important challenge as yoga therapists is not to alleviate suffering? What if helping cancer survivors turn towards their discomfort and vulnerability with compassion is more important than a specific sequence of asana or breath practices? What if there are profound physiological, psychological, and spiritual benefits to learning to befriend your discomfort? I began working with cancer survivors about 10 years ago after my own personal experience with cancer. 12 years ago, I was 39 years old and I had a 2-month-old baby daughter who's here with me today running around as a tween. And I just had a joyous home birth, and nobody could have been more shocked than I was to have a stage 3 breast cancer diagnosis. I went through all of the Western traditional medicine and the best that integrative practices had to offer as well. But I still struggled emotionally and physically. The cancer diagnosis creates a shock that jolts your nervous system and creates ripples and patterns through your physical body, your emotional life, and your relationships for days, months, years to come. And if you're working with cancer survivors, you may have people who are still coming to your class 15 years later. There's still things that they're working on and still ways that they feel like they need to connect with their tribe of people who understand. From a psychological perspective, we think of the shock that occurs as an emotional shock. It's acute stress is what we call it. But from a yogic perspective, it's also an energetic imprint around which patterns begin to be developed. Thought patterns, emotional patterns, relationship patterns, and lots of suffering can develop as well. And as yoga therapists, most of us in our traditions have the awareness and the deep understanding and belief that we're spiritual beings here to have a human experience. But I feel like it's really important as yoga therapists working with survivors to really remember that we're also physiological beings here having a human experience. And our nervous systems, our sympathetic nervous system goes into a state of fight, flight, or freeze. And that's a natural occurrence. And that's going to happen at diagnosis, and then it happens all through the treatment process. We want to survive. We want to cling to life. It's a natural biological process that happens. When you're confronted with fear of your own death and danger to your bodily integrity or to a loved one's. One of the yogic teachings that has been most significant for me in my own healing and that I keep front and center is something that Guru Nanak said in the 16th century. There is medicine in the discomfort. Comfort is the disease. I'm just going to repeat that because it's one of my favorites. There is medicine in the discomfort. Comfort is the disease. And this was shared to me by a friend and a teacher when I was at one of my darkest moments after treatment. And it's one that I continue to work with as life goes on and throws you all kinds of curveballs, and you want to resist the discomfort. As a yogi and a psychotherapist, I have all kinds of coping mechanisms, and I'm sure you all do too. But sometimes in this journey of life and also of cancer, you're beyond your known coping mechanisms. And so learning to be able to soften your attitude towards yourself and turn towards the discomfort is, a very important part of our journey, and one that's very important to teach to people, that it's okay to have the discomfort, because sometimes you're not going to be able to do anything to get out of it. And over time, I've landed on 3 different practices that I use in all of my groups and teaching that I feel like, first of all, they're being used in psychology quite a bit. Instead of getting people to repeat their traumatic story over and over again when they're already traumatized, there's a lot of psychotherapists now that are using these 3 elements to help people not re-traumatize themselves as you enter into treatment. And so I'm going to share those with you today. They're going to be familiar to most of you, but I really like to highlight them because I think sometimes we're not talking about them explicitly enough, but they're simple and they're things that people can really integrate into their own daily lives and into their yoga practices. I was doing this last night and this morning when I was feeling nervous about presenting. So these 3 elements are being able to get grounded, learning to become the observer of your experience, and practicing allowing everything to be just as it is in this moment. So getting grounded. This is about using your senses to stabilize the mind and connect to your breathing. Pulling awareness into the body, having a felt sense of safety in the body in this moment, no matter where you are on your cancer journey or your life journey. And so you can probably think of many different ways to help people get grounded. Second, learning to become the observer of your experience. So this is about tracking your inner experience with respect and without judgment. So noticing what's happening and allowing it to be there. Well, the second part is allowing everything to be just as it is. So sometimes cancer survivors can spend a lot of time taking inventory of all their different sensations and symptoms. But the additional piece is practice allowing that that's okay. It's okay if you're feeling a sensation there. Let's make space for it. So these are all antidotes to shock, disorientation, and resisting discomfort that causes more suffering. So in the time that we have left, we're going to just do a little practice to see how simple it is to be explicit with these 3 elements. So come into your comfortable seated position. You might place both feet on the floor. You can have your hands on your legs. And if you like, you could close your eyes or just gently look down towards the floor. And even though we've been sitting here together for several minutes now, we're going to take a couple of moments to allow yourself to arrive. Once again, arriving with your awareness to the room, arriving to this moment in space and time, here together in Newport Beach, and just noticing what it's like to be here right now. Hearing the sounds from the environment. See if you can pick out 3 different sounds and practice observing them. Not trying to push anything away, allowing it to be just as it is in this moment. Now bring your awareness to what you are experiencing in your body. Feeling what you are experiencing as sensation. Just noticing, not pushing anything away, allowing it to be just as it is in this moment. Bring your awareness to the sensations of where you are sitting. Feel the sensations in your feet. Feel into the floor and through the floor to the earth. Connecting with the energy of the earth. Feeling safe. And feeling like you belong. Notice the temperature on your skin, allowing that to be. That's an advanced practice. And then notice the thoughts and feelings that are happening inside of you. Just as you were observing the sounds, allowing the thoughts and feelings to have space, imagining they have the right to be there, part of your human experience, making space for them. Breathing, making room experience in this moment. Bring your awareness to the center of your chest and feel that area soften. Softening your attitude towards yourself and your expectations of yourself. Inhaling compassion for yourself and exhaling tension or expectation. In this moment, everything's already okay. Allowing yourself to be. Breathing long and deep. And when you're ready, you can return to your breathing and open your eyes. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.